Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, Ribombee. Ribombee is a bug and fairy type Pokemon, so a brand new typing combination in the world of Pokemon Go. And as for the moveset, it has Fairy Wind, Bug Buzz, and Dazzling Gleam. So it has arguably one of the best possible fast moves, but with only nuke charge moves, it is going to be a bit difficult for Ribombee to get to moves. I was able to get one from a remote raid and use some rare candies to power it up, so we can test it out in some practice battles in the Great League against members of my Discord. Hopping to the first match, leading Registeel into Drapion. Honestly, a pretty nice lead for Registeel, but my backline is pretty weak to Noctowl, so if my opponent does have a Noctowl in the back, I will need to eventually switch out to the Sableye and try and bait it out. My opponent does not get the Crunch debuff, which is very good news for me. I'm going to return fire with the Zap Cannon, it connects, and I am able to get the attack drop. That is quite nice. They're going for Crunch number 2 here. I'm going to let this through. A third Crunch will get me quite low, so I'm going to make a bit of an unorthodox play. I'm actually going to catch the Crunch onto Sableye, because if they have a Noctowl, I need to bait it out. Crunch is going to land. My opponent is going to send in a Dunsparce, and to be fair, this is another Pokemon that I definitely needed to bait out. Dunsparce farming up a ton of energy. I'm firing off the return with the Sableye. Dunsparce commits an early shield. Dunsparce going for the Drill Run here. Drill Run not going to be enough to KO. Sableye able to tank it. Sableye farming up a bunch of energy. Sableye able to make it to the last second return before the rollouts get the farm down. That's going to land. Dunsparce leaves with a lot of loaded energy here. Dunsparce goes for the Drill Run. This is not going to be enough to KO. Registeel tries to make it to a move, but I get sniped with the Deoxys. And now it's Ribombee with a shield advantage versus the world. Deoxys is going to fire off their first charge move. I commit the shield, and it's a Thunderbolt. I'm going to farm up with Ribombee to 100 energy, and now I'm going for the Bug Buzz here. Bug Buzz is going to one-shot the Deoxys. In comes the Drapion. Drapion makes it to a move, but this should only be a Crunch. I'm going to let this go and save my shields for the moves that I know the Dunsparce is going to reach. Back in comes the Dunsparce. Dunsparce will be met with the Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz gets the shield. It's going to be a race. Dunsparce makes it to a move. The question is, do they have the back-to-back here? They go for the Drill Run. They are not able to make it to another move. Ribombee hangs on, KOs with a Bug Buzz, and that is a good game. Picking up a bit of a tricky lead in the next match, Registeel into Sunny Cherrim. Sunny Cherrim, of course, does have Fire-type Weather Ball, so I'm going to switch out and catch the Weather Ball onto my Sableye. Weather Ball going to do some chip damage onto the Sableye, and now my opponent is going to send in Obstagoon. Obstagoon, definitely a bit of a problem for the Registeel and the Sableye, but the nice thing is I do have Ribombee, which can handle this Obstagoon quite nicely. I'm going to farm up, firing off the return, and winning the CMP tie over the Obstagoon. Return is going to do quite a bit of damage. Obstagoon stuck through on the Night Slash, and I'm just going to let this go and use this as an opportunity to get some energy onto Ribombee here. I'm going to send in Ribombee. Ribombee looking for the farm down. I should resist whatever they throw here, as they did not make enough for a Hyper Beam or a potential Gunk Shot. They go for Obstruct. My defense has now been debuffed. In the back, they have Cresselia, so it looks like Ribombee with energy may be able to put in work here. Bug Buzz, so much damage. In comes the Cherrim. I'm going to bank energy and switch back into the Registeel. I basically am just using Registeel as a damage sponge here and saving energy on Ribombee to try and win this game. I'm firing off the Focus Blast. That's going to get a shield from the Sunny Cherrim. Cherrim incredibly spammy, and they have a lot of energy here. I'm going to let this through. It is going to be another Weather Ball, and they are going to outpace me here, so I am going to be letting the Registeel go, saving all of my shields for Ribombee. I know they don't have a lot of fast move pressure remaining, and I'm counting on the fact that they're not going to be able to farm me down. Bug Buzz gets the shield. Ribombee able to make it to another Bug Buzz. That's going to be goodbye to the Sunny Cherrim, and all that's left is the Cresselia in the back. Cresselia just does not have enough moves to get rid of Ribombee's shields. Grass Knot gets the shield. Ribombee makes it to the Bug Buzz, and here I don't even have to hit any bubbles. Bug Buzz still KOs, and that is a good game. Picking up a tricky lead in the next match, Registeel into Dubwool. Dubwool definitely a bit of a core breaker for this team, as it does very well into both Sableye and the Registeel. I'm going to farm up, bait with the Zap Cannon here, and I'm able to grab a shield. I farm up, switch, and catch what I'm hoping is going to be a payback onto Ribombee. It is a payback. That still does so much resisted damage, and in comes Swampert. Swampert, these mud shots are going to be resisted, but the Hydro Cannons will absolutely devastate Ribombee. I'm farming up, and I'm going for the Bug Buzz here. I only have nuke charge moves. Are they going to let this through? Yes, they do! Nearly KOing the Swampert. Swampert is able to hang on, make it to another Hydro, and I'm going to burn the final shield here. I do leave with a Bug Buzz loaded. Here, I misremembered. I thought that the Dubwool had a Body Slam loaded, so I went for CMB, but they were actually one short, so I end up giving them a free double kick. Here, I'm going to farm up, go for the catch, onto the Registeel. Was I able to catch the Body Slam? Yes, I was. I was able to catch the Body Slam. In the back is a Tapu Fini, and I'm going to go for the Zap Cannon here. Desperately needing an attack debuff. Zap Cannon will get the final shield from the Tapu Fini, and I do get the attack debuff. That is big. I am going to get outpaced here. Tapu Fini is going to be firing off the Surf. Surf gets the Registeel low. I'm able to make it to a Focus Blast. The Tapu Fini may have potentially lagged there. Focus Blast lands. They get the Water Gun farm down, and even with the lag, I still need a catch to win. I'm going to send in the Sableye here. Can I catch onto Ribombee? I cannot. Not able to time it. Opponent throws in the middle of the Shadow Claw. Moonblast KOs. In comes Ribombee. Ribombee makes it to the Bug Buzz. The question is, how much energy does the Dubwool have? It's very low. In comes the Dubwool. They make it to the Body Slam with a sliver of HP. Ribombee gets KO'd. And that is a good game. We've got a tricky lead in the next match, Registeel into Shadow Beedrill. Beedrill can do quite well versus both Registeel and Ribombee, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to see on the lead. I do know that I tank one drill run, so I am going to let the first move through. Opponent went for a bait. They were confident I was going to shield it, and that is an absolutely massive call. I'm going to return fire with the Zap Cannon. I get the shield, but I do not get the attack drop. That means at this point, honestly, I'm pretty worried about the Shadow Drill Run damage, so I will commit the shield. They do not bait the second time, so it ends up being a very worthwhile shield. I'm going for Zap Cannon number 2 here. Shadow Beedrill double shields in the matchup. I should be able to double shield and honestly be in an okay spot here, because I'm going to leave with a very healthy Registeel, so if they have a flyer in the back, hopefully Reggie will be able to handle it. I'm firing off the Zap Cannon here. Zap Cannon is going to KO. Opponent is going to send in Shadow Dragonite. I'm farming up here. I wanted to catch onto the Sableye, but I mistime it. They make it to the superpower, and down goes Reggie. I'm going to be sending in Ribombee here. In the back, my opponent has a Shadow Shiftry. Oh my goodness, this Bug Buzz hits for double super effective damage. This will absolutely devastate the Shiftry. Back in comes the Shadow Dragonite. Dragonite, unfortunately, just not going to be able to deal enough damage here. Everything is double resisted. They go for the superpower. Ribombee hangs on, makes it to the Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam, massive overkill, and that's game over. Moving into the next match, leading Registeel into Shadow Sableye. Shadow Sableye is honestly quite tricky for Registeel due to the fact that it just outputs a tremendous amount of damage. I'm going to be shielding the first move here, as I do want to try and go for a Zap Cannon debuff. If I get the debuff, of course, their future moves are going to be doing less. Zap Cannon gets the shield and gets that attack drop. That is quite nice. I'm farming up. The Sableye just has so much energy here. Sableye goes for the foul play. Registeel able to tank it, and I make it to another Zap Cannon. This Zap Cannon is going to hurt. We see the opponent double shielding the Shadow Sableye. I pivot into my own, and my opponent is going to respond with a Whimsicott. Whimsicott able to outpace the Sableye, and I will have to burn my final shield here. This is a bit unfortunate, as my opponent is absolutely loaded on their Sableye. I'm going to farm up, go for the return. This will easily take care of the Whimsicott. We'll have to see, are they going to bring in the final Pokemon, or do we see the return of the Shadow Sableye? Opponent is going to send in a Vigoroth here, and oh boy, that Shadow Sableye it can have access to Power Gem, and that would absolutely crush Ribombee. I'm farming up here. Opponent waits a turn to prevent a catch. Very nicely done. They go for the Bulldoze. Bulldoze is going to land. In comes... Oh, I tried to go for the catch. They bring in the Sableye. Tried to go for the catch. Unfortunately, I was not able to catch the Power Gem, and it's just too little too late for Ribombee, as this Shadow Power Gem will absolutely crush Ribombee, and that's game over. We've got some spice on the lead in the next match. Registeel versus Lurantis. I'm going to save switch into Sableye here. Lurantis, thanks to Fury Cutter, is extremely spammy. They're going to be firing off the Leaf Blade here. Leaf Blade does do a surprising amount of damage onto Sableye. I farm up, go for the foul play, and I lose CMP. That is not good, as now I'm already in a spot where I'm a shield down, and I'm stuck throwing the foul play here. Foul play is not going to be enough to KO. Opponent is going to let that through, and they're going to send in Lantern. I farm up, go for the foul play, and I'm able to win CMP over the Lantern as they make it to the Surf. Foul play is going to be no shielded. Opponent just trying to get rid of the Sableye, and I am going to be sending in the Registeel here. Registeel will be able to take care of the Lantern, but being at a shield disadvantage and only having a Pokemon that has nuke moves like Ribombee is a bit of a tricky situation to be in. They're going to connect with the Thunderbolt. I'll go for the Zap Cannon here. Does the same damage as a Focus Blast, but on the off chance they shield, I could get a debuff. They're going to let that through. They have a Kofagrigus in the back. There is quite a bit of lag. Thankfully, I'm able to catch back up and go for the Zap Cannon. But unfortunately, I just don't see a good way of me getting rid of this Kofagrigus. I just have absolutely no fast move pressure into the Kofagrigus whatsoever. They're going to go for the Dark Pulse. That's going to KO. I send in Ribombee. Ribombee farming up. They just have so much energy here. I commit the shield. They go for the Shadow Ball. I continue to farm. Opponent is going to send in Lurantis. Lurantis gets farmed down. I go for the Bug Buzz, but honestly, even if Bug Buzz does get the debuff, it's just too little too late for me here, as they are able to make it to the move. It's the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, I believe that was an undercharge, and they're still able to farm down. Picking up a good lead in the next match, Registeel into Lickitung. My opponent staying in this lead, so they clearly have something else weak to Registeel in the back, so I will need to pivot out of this matchup at some point. I'm firing off the Zap Cannon, looking for a debuff, but unfortunately no debuff to be found. Lickitung is going to be firing off resisted charge moves here, but the licks are really adding up onto the Registeel. They make it to another move. Again, I'm going to be letting this go. They go for another Body Slam. I'm farming up here with the Registeel, making it to the Focus Blast. Let's see, are they willing to shield in this lead matchup? They are not. In comes Medicham. I pivot into Ribombee, and there's a Shadow Charm Alolan Ninetales. And look at the charms absolutely shredding Ribombee. Ribombee goes for a Bug Buzz, does get the defense drop, but it's just too little too late. Registeel can make it to a move, but they still have a shield remaining, and my Sableye is going to get absolutely shredded in this endgame here. My Registeel makes it to the Zap Cannon. I have to hope for an attack debuff, but again, it's still not going to win me this game. I do not get the debuff, and Sableye is just getting absolutely torn to shreds. This Weather Ball is going to pressure the final shield, and I just don't have enough HP to get rid of the Ninetales and get rid of the Medicham. They can just send back in the Medicham to absorb the damage, and unfortunately here, my Registeel just got too low in that initial matchup, and then Charmalolan Ninetales was too much to handle. Hopping to the final match, we've got Registeel on the lead versus a Great League Golden Go. So we've got some serious spice from the opponent. I'm going to farm up a lot of energy and then fire off the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon will deal massive damage to the Golden Go. Golden Go commits the shield, and I get the debuff. I tried to go for a catch there. Unfortunately, the catch did not go through. Opponent ends up going for a Shadow Ball bait, and they're able to grab one of my shields. I'm firing off another Zap Cannon here, looking to put some pressure onto Golden Go. Golden Go commits the second shield, and they get debuffed again. I'm just not going to shield at this point. I'm going to let that through. Shadow Ball is double debuffed. Opponent makes it to another one, and again, I just don't think I'm going to shield here. I'm going to let this go. Shadow Ball leaves me on 1 HP. I'm going to send in Sableye. Opponent sends in Hawlucha. So I am incredibly happy to see Hawlucha here and not versus Ribombee in the back. Hawlucha goes for the Flying Press. That does so much resisted damage. And I'm just going to get rid of Hawlucha with this return. Return easily going to KO Hawlucha. Opponent in the back, they have Jirachi, and this is looking like a Sableye sweep here. Ribombee honestly may not even have to leave the bench as they're going to get KO'd. In comes the Golden Go. Golden Go gets farmed down, and that's game over. And now some final thoughts on Ribombee. First off, I do think the typing is incredibly cool. Fairy Bug, I don't believe is a combination that we've seen in Pokemon Go before. However, the moveset does leave a little bit to be desired. Fairy Wind, incredible fast move. One of the best possible fast moves you can have. And the fact that it only has nuke moves is definitely a bit of a drawback. However, I will say Ribombee can potentially have some strong play in Great League Limited metas going forward, but in Open Great League, without a bait move, unfortunately, I do probably see it more struggling than thriving. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.